Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Honey Wagon. I am one half of your host today, Walker Lot, here with Zach Flowers. We are, for me, like minutes, and him maybe around an hour-ish after the Lanterns premiere, season one premiere. Great start of the season. Excited for the future. We'll get on to that in a little bit. We'll talk a little House of the Dragon as well, which we really loved and ended, I think, better than season two. We can definitely say that, and I'm excited for season four. Um, I'll start with this, like we always do. How are you doing? And then also, what have you watched recently?
I'm good. I'm awesome. My last watch, outside of everything, I watched Oppenheimer, first Oppenheimer rewatch ever yesterday. Still incredible. On my letterbox, I said, I don't think there's a single movie that has benefited more from an incredible score than this.
Yep,
In my opinion, it's the best film score ever,
it's
and I
incredible.
don't say that lightly. It's actually unbelievable how
Yep.
impactful it is and how it just like fits the tone and kind of shapes the world of, that time frame and just I don't know, it just feels like scientific. It feels reluctant. It feels like there's a whole lot of weight under it where it's like this looming, destruction coming up. But yeah. What about you?
No, you're absolutely right, man. It's incredible. I haven't done the rewatch officially yet. I'm trying to get my parents to watch it with me, so that's hopefully the rewatch. I finally have it on whatever 4K Ultra HD. So
4K.
I
Yeah,
need
that
I
was
need
my first 4K UHD watch. So that
there
was
there you go.
felt wonderful.
I had a bad June in terms of movies, so I really made up with it in July. The Odyssey, twice, Point Break, the Oceans movies, stuff like that. I would say that recently, of course, was Die Hard for the first time. That was
The
pretty
first
good.
time,
First time ever watching Die Hard, that was really good. Then
amazing.
Spider-Man Brand New Day. Um, Honestly, we could talk about those another episode, maybe next week or something, but and
Hmm.
just go or do our summer, whatever. I think what I'm currently watching is I'm watching The Mentalist, the HB or the show on Hulu or
Hmm.
Disney Plus. Not bad. I'm enjoying it. It's a fun little show. But yeah, let's talk through what we just finished up watching, which was House of the Dragon season three. Uh, Better ending. It was a good start. I think we probably did an episode probably after episode two, three, something like that,
Hmm.
and then we're finishing up the season now. Um, I think I think when we were finishing up, or when we did our last episode, I have to go back and find it, but it was like after the at least the first three episodes that we were like, okay, this is a great start. This is
Yep.
what we wanted to see. This is peak season one. Oh my goodness, we're back, right? And then I think from four to seven, it didn't really it's not that it went down. It just kind of just stayed. Like it was just going like this.
Hmm.
And then at the end of the season, it kind of went like that, but not like it wasn't like that. Like it was like a hump, but it wasn't this, right? And so I think it is a good season. I think the battle I was saying to you, I think the Battle of Tumbleton was one of the best we've seen, right,
It's fun
ever
to see a siege battle. It's been a while, I feel like.
in the day, like right, dragons everywhere. Caraxie's looking awesome, right? So like, there's a lot of stuff in there in the battle that was really really cool. But I just think I think somewhere was like the first OG season was 10 episodes, and I just imagine if you had you could fit more stuff in and do a lot more stuff at 10 episodes, where like also like you can move the plot along faster to where you don't have to build to be like you only have three episodes to build to one big thing and then move to the next season. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like I think they were kind of running out of things, and I actually want to read Fire and Blood. I might want to audible it or something, and I want to see it
Yeah.
now of kind of like, okay, how much info do they have right now? Because you always
Yeah.
hear of like, oh yeah, Aegon right now, you have nothing to do with him. Allison, you have nothing to do with him. Aemon, he's just over at Harrenhal doing nothing, right? Like, so you're and Rhaenyra, right? All of this time is supposedly just in her castle in the books, just chilling, right? So you don't
Yep.
have all these things, and so you have to give them credit of like building stories out to make it happen.
Yeah.
But I think the season overall and ending it was on a good note. Last season was kind of like a "Are you kidding me?" note. This season is like, okay, I can wait. We're gonna have a pretty good season, final season, season four. Those are my overarching thoughts. Zach, if you want to dive into it, you can do it a little bit more. But like overall thoughts on season three of House of the Dragon and just the final episode of Battle of Tumbleton.
Yeah, I think you would share the same opinion. I think that the way that the seasons have gone for this series, I think it's a pretty clear delineation of like season one is the best, season three it will be the second best, and season two is the worst. Not because of the quality like throughout, but I just feel like season two didn't feel like a complete season.
Right.
Uh, which I mean, we talked about it a while back. Like the start of this season felt like the end of last season. So I mean, it was kind of already there.
Right.
But to talk about this season, if I think it was really good to kind of close it the way that it did. Um, Kind of having this build up, not just of the big battle, but also you've built this villain up for the last 6 to 8 episodes where you're like, okay, here's Ormond, this guy who, speaking of green, like embodies the greens, and just for that kind of is a really fun character. I think in terms of the like scope of all of the like single season Thrones villains, I think he's definitely up there, especially among just like single season characters.
Yeah.
But
Incredible.
yeah, I thought it was interesting. There were parts of it that weren't my favorite. I think a lot of it was like well intended and good like results, but the process wasn't really there,
Yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff with Alan was one of those things where like I completely understand like getting him to make the decisions that he does because it is in his character. I just wish that it was kind of set up more to
Right.
like the fact that he's just immediately gonna go ahead and kill
The
the
Pope.
Septon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he killed the Pope.
Right.
Uh,
So like that's another I think that goes back to kind of having 10 episodes to kind of set that up. It would have been nice. I can't believe HBO out of all people won't allow two more episodes. Like that doesn't make sense, especially for a House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones like IP. That just doesn't make sense.
like it's
Um,
popular. It's not like this is a show that they're needing.
right. It's not like it's like 800,000 viewers and call it a day. It's over 20 million people are watching this every
Yeah,
Sunday. So that's not the point. But the point
I
is,
guess it's a dragon thing probably. That's
oh,
my guess.
CGI, it must be insane. Absolutely.
But even then, like the stuff that we're like talking about, like wanting more of, it's not even the dragon stuff. It's like
Right. Yeah.
a couple more moments with the characters, or maybe making different choices to build to the points where it's like, look, the Ulf twist where I mean, we talked about it early, where it's like one of these guys is flipping, maybe both of them, but like that's something that was set up well. It's just I feel like it was a little too much like, oh yeah, here's one. I like the parallel between how Damon kind of beat him down in the street, and then Ormond beat him down in the street, like verbally
Same.
and all
Yeah.
that stuff. It was a good parallel, but I don't know. I just felt like there was something like I wanted, I don't know, a little bit more out of that. But overall, I think Ulf was really fun this season.
I think everything at Tumbleton, like the island or the area of Tumbleton, this entire season was really good. What Ormond leading the way, being a great villain for the season. Um, Another great kind of one season villain that they've had in recent memory. Just a great, just like nuisance. And I think that goes into whole Ulf and Hugh, and they were good pieces. And just like they were like, okay, this is that area was good. I think a lot of just it was hard to balance everything. Here, I like Harrenhal stuff because it's fun, but I always think that like going in there and you're like, okay, what is it now? Like that type of vibe, right? And that's always hard to deal with. But like, and they were trying to do the parallel between Aemon and Daemon, of course, because that make like they're gonna have to meet in season four. Like
Yep,
it's gonna happen. But like they're just setting up a lot of stuff, and I think it's going good. It's just like it's just so much. Like I there was a thing that came out and Ryan Condal was like, "Oh yeah, like we're gonna have more characters and more dragons in season four," and you're like, "Dude,
more episodes.
please, like how much more can you add into a show with all of this stuff? Like there's so much going on. It's just it's unbelievable how they can pull it off to make it go. Okay, that was good, right? But like writing was on certain parts, but overall, I think it was good. I'm happy I watched it, and there's nothing really like Game of
Yeah,
Thrones stuff. And I think we can, at the end of the day, say this: they it's an always an A+ with the dragon stuff. The dragon stuff is
Yep.
always spectacular. They nail it every single time, and I will watch that till the end of the time just for that stuff. And the acting like standouts, Ormond, Rhaenyra, Allison at times,
I
like
thought Darren was really good.
Darren was great. Like Gwaine was good this year. Like everyone, like Aegon, whatever his name is, Tom, I forget his last name, but like
Tom Glenn Carney.
yes, like
That
everyone
line delivery was just amazing.
incredible. Like I think everyone is really good this season acting in their stuff. So I can't really hate on anything. It's just like there's just so much to do. The writing is like is like you have to drag stuff along at times, but
Yeah.
like I think it's overall really good. Good season. Happy to watch it. We'll be tuned in 2 years for season 4.
Excited for the wrap up, you know.
Yep, exactly. Um, I will next episode we'll go back and check of like who we thought dies and who's not.
Hmm.
Like our first whatever. I think we were pretty much aligned in what we were
Yeah, I think
saying.
I mean Corliss survived. I was surprised, but I think it was not. I mean, I won't complain about him staying, you know.
No, yeah, 100%.
But I
I
think
think we
we yeah,
both.
I
I
think we
think I
got.
said Cole late season. Thank you. That was the only one I think we both said. Eh.
Hmm.
And so I think Cole was the one that we were iffy on, but not that bad. But let's move on to Lanterns. Episode 1 just dropped today. I don't know the title name, but it is very True Detective. They kept to their word.
Yeah.
Season 1 of True Detective, of course, is one of the best seasons of television ever, maybe the best season of television ever. And you can kind of feel how they do it. I also was thinking very Fargo-esque, if you've ever
Hmm.
seen Fargo.
I haven't,
Um,
but I know it's like that kind
it,
of
it's
um
I've only watched season 5 of
chapter
Fargo.
thing where it's like
Yes.
it's the same thing where what's it called?
Each
Every
season,
season's different. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like I've only watched season 5 with John Hamm, the newest
Hmm.
one, so I can't say everything. But like even I felt like the female cop, I forget her name, off the top of my head, is
Hmm.
doing like a South Dakotan accent type of times,
Yeah.
which I thought was funny. Anyways, the vibe is awesome. Very HBO. I'm watching an HBO type of show.
Yeah, like this is HBO 8 p.m. baby. Like
It's
this they're not doing anything lesser, you know.
exactly. The writing this episode was spectacular. I thought the writing you just automatically even in the first time with the car you were like, okay, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, them two, Kyle Chandler, Aaron Pierce,
Perfect.
Aaron Pierre
Pierre. Yeah.
was like perfect, like you just said. Like it was like stripped out of a comic book, and it was just great. I was just like, I can believe it, 100%. I can believe the whole thing. Their vibe, togetherness, it just worked out perfectly for me. I think the season sets up a lot where you're just like, okay, we're building. This is what it is. I'm intrigued of a lot of things, and then of course the ending. Spoilers for anyone listening.
Let's get to that later. Let's get to
Okay,
that
we'll
later.
get to that later. Just like then the ending
But the
happens,
ending
as
is
you're just like,
significant.
okay, this is
Yeah.
this is this sets it up. So a lot of not just who done it, and but then multiple aspects, which is really really cool. So,
Yeah.
Zach, episode 1, Lanterns. We've been excited for this. The gun did not jam once again. What
Reloaded. There's
what
at
is
least one more bullet in the chamber. Let's see if it's got seven more.
exactly?
Uh, I think I think you had it right on the head where you talking about the writing, where there was just moments where I was like, "Oh, that's really sharp," you know, where you think about something like, um, John's dad shooting the gun at him early on in the episode, and then that kind of going throughout the episode where John's talking to this kid, or just all the stuff when it comes to being everything ties together. And it's one of
Right.
those things that's like you kind of would assume that happens with writing, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes there's just stuff that is fluff. I thought all the exposition was really interesting and well done when it comes to like,
Given the
yeah,
backstory
this
and
a 60-minute special about a Green Lantern revealing himself is pretty amazing. Like
yes,
it's really cool, true to like I mean, like you said, it's very grounded, very true detective, and so it's one of those things where it sounds like it feels like real. But then one of the things I really like is I mean, it's not afraid of like the source material. Like
right.
it's not pretending that oh like this stuff is we got to make it a little more serious or something. Like it's no like we're talking about Green Lantern over and over and over again. We're talking about aliens. We're talking about uh I'll get to this later, but one of my favorite scenes where 100% like Hal's backstory is the exact same as it's always supposed to be. So
Yeah. It's incredible. Like you said, I think the just setup and everything that happened from the first episode or the first minute is like him looking up at the TV and going, "Wow, this guy is fearless. I really believe in him." And then in the point where the interrogation happens, he goes, "How can you like follow this guy? Can you believe in this guy?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can. Like I believe in him. Like I see in him." Like that 10-20 year gap still hasn't changed even though he's putting him through the ringer. Like the belief in who Hal Jordan is same when he was a kid, which I think is really cool. The setup of like they didn't change the storylines, like everything is the same. Where Abin Sur comes in, and when I was like, because I always knew it was like he finds Abin Sur like grounded, and so when they were like when he was in bed and the light came to him, I was like, are they switching
mhm.
it up? And then they were like, no, he finds him and all that. So I was like, okay, but like keeping that realistic, where like is making sense and everything, like they're in the bar just talking, and all that is like, okay, yeah, that like this all makes sense, right? You're doing the history of the Green Lantern for the person who doesn't know it in a way that makes sense. I think that whole bar scene was fantastic, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah, that's my favorite scene of
it's
the episode.
that and the interrogation scene right after, but just like that whole bar scene where he's fighting in the background, showing who Hal Jordan is, that cocky but confident but no fear mentality guy, while John Stewart's the more chilled, focused, regimented guy, and you have that back and forth. I just think that it was just a spectacular scene showing their two personalities really well.
Yeah, and kind of getting into more specific detail, like plot details. So
Yeah,
I guess this will be full on, but I thought it was interesting how I mean, just talking about what this whole story is about, at least with the multiple timelines. I think that's really interesting. That's the most true detective thing about it. I feel like having it set in 2016 and 2026, and then probably some stuff in the 90s, like at the beginning. But it's really interesting to show like I was listening to the Midnight Boys talking about
yeah,
like just kind of how they structured like Hal versus John, and Hal's like the natural talented guy who he's just really good at this just because he is, and then John is one of those guys that he's been trained to this like his whole life. So it's interesting to see how like you are differing the origins between these two because one of them, it's the normal path. It's the one lantern dies, the ring finds you. And then for John, like it almost feels like his dad wants him to be a lantern more than he does,
yeah.
which I'm interested to see if that ties into anything more specifically, whether like there's something more that his dad knows or that his dad has been told or what. But yeah, I, you want to talk about where we think the ending brings us?
Yeah, I mean, I I was like back and forth. Everyone in the world was like back and forth of like, are they gonna do two lanterns? Because that's of course not like imaginable that they do two lanterns at one time. They never in any of those scenes at the end showed if John Stewart already has a ring, so we don't know. But like, I like it's crazy killing off like they're setting it up to being like, oh, how you get to this point, who done it, all this stuff, but killing Hal Jordan episode 1 and setting up of like, yeah, you're not going to have a Hal Jordan in the future of the DCU is it's a little crazy. Like I'm not going to lie, it's a bold choice, but like I'm so excited to see how it's pulled off. You know what I mean?
See, see, this might end up sounding stupid. I honestly think killing him off at the end of episode one makes me more confident that he will just be around. Like I think now obviously he was shot in the head, so it's
Not good.
hard to come back from.
Right.
But I don't know, the fact that his ring is missing and they do it so early on, like I don't know,
It could be like a another guy. Like it could be an
Yeah,
alien in that body. I
we
just thought
could.
of
It could
that, but it
be.
could.
It could be a Stranger Things fake Will Byers body situation.
Yeah.
It could be like whenever, I mean, going back to True Detective comparisons, like
Yeah.
you go to the present day timeline in True Detective, and what's kind of the big mystery there is it's like, okay, these killings are still happening, and we think that it's Rust. Like they're telling you basically through writing that it's Rust, even which is like the most obvious red herring for an investigative mystery like this.
Right.
And so it's one of those things where I see this and I'm thinking, okay, they're telling you, they're showing you that Hal Jordan's dead, but body fully intact, other than bullet hole. And it's one of those things where it's like I thought that seeing some of the trailer stuff, I thought that it would have been like a more dramatic thing where like we see him dying. The
Yes.
fact that we don't see him dying, we just see him dead,
Right.
gives me more of a thought to, okay, this might not stick, or this might not be what it seems. And I think a lot of people are kind of like taking it more at face value whenever
Right.
shows like this, you can't take anything off face value. Like there's always, I mean, these creatives behind it are very smart and they've done stuff that is way smarter than anything I can ever think of. And it's one of those things where you just gotta sit it out, ride it out, but
Yeah.
and don't overreact. I think it's really easy to overreact and say, "Oh, one of my favorite characters is now dead,"
100%.
but there's still multiple hours left of this story that we just haven't seen,
Yes.
and that means there's might be multiple more hours to bring him back.
Dude, I think there's so much like I think this was a great world building setup. Know the characters, know what the point is, and see the plot. Like you see it all, right? And I think it's gonna be so intriguing to see where this goes. Like there's so like you have 10 years, of course, that like this year is gonna have them too. Are you gonna have like the remembrance of like in if he is dead, right? In the present day timeline, are they going to do like they did with the ring where like he can talk to him during this, stuff like that where like it's going to be a lot of cool stuff and I'm really intrigued to see what they do. I just think they nailed the first episode. Like I'm wanting to sit down and watch the rest like right now. And
Everything they've put into it just makes me like intrigued about like, okay, where is this going? Like the stuff with the Macon family, like what is their deal? Like, what do they got going on this ranch?
yes,
What is going on with the like second generation of that family? What's going on
right.
with the first generation? And then just, I'm interested. I don't know if I'm reading into it a little too much and trying to like find stuff where there's not. The stuff with John and the kid, I wonder
Mm.
what where that's going or if that's something where,
The John and grandma too. Like
yeah.
not just because they did it, but like the fact that the guy already knows and
Hmm.
the husband knows and it's okay and like are they just trying to play their game? I told my dad this. I was like, that's an alien. Both like they're aliens. Like that's like but like you have like this how secret evasion actually should have been done where you don't know, not the points, but like you don't know who's who. Like that's the cool part where you're just sitting there, you're like, is this guy like who can you trust? And that's going to be really cool to see the season going on because
Yeah.
I just think that when you're able to do like think about like the whole thing and we'll see it later because they have you seen any of like the trailers or anything like that for future season or for the season? Okay.
No,
Um,
I didn't watch the end
okay,
of
then I won't
the
spoil
show.
anything, but like let me think of another example. Okay. It's like if what if Martian Manhunter turned bad? Like what if you're able to have an alien on Earth that can change into anything and you just have to
Hmm.
deal with that, right? And so if that's what these aliens are able to do, like how do you deal with that? And like I just think that's going to be such a cool concept because a Nebraskan farm, like very rich farm, says, I don't want aliens on my property. I'm going to defend my rights and have a whole militia basically doing it. That makes sense for the USA, right? Like that totally makes sense. And so that's going to be like the tofu and looking them up and having the government behind them probably like that's such an intriguing plot. The
I think
cop,
that's the thing I'm most interested in is like they're telling us that it's the government stuff, but surely it's got to be like something deeper with that. I remember when they announced this show, James Gunn talked about how like integral that this show is to setting up the like bigger, not thread, but like the bigger threads of where this like story of the DCU is going, you know?
Hmm.
And so just to see, I don't know, something's up, obviously. That's
Right.
to say the least.
No, I like the idea where the cop is going to be kind of the gray area person where just she stick with the family even though she really doesn't like the family, maybe
Hmm.
likes just the husband, right? And like, but how do you, and but wants to help the cops and all of that, like how or the the lanterns, like how does she
Hmm.
middle ground there? Like, we're gonna get some cool people probably as the season goes on. Like are they gonna bring in any like okay the villain the aliens are they aliens we know or are they just gonna make
Yeah.
one up? Are they gonna do another Lantern Corps? Are they gonna bring in like there's so many cool things they can do with this show, and there's things thrown around like we know this Sinestro is cast in some aspect. Okay,
Hmm.
why would you talk to a Yellow Lantern? Like why? And so
Is
like
he a Yellow Lantern right now?
right like there's so many things that I'm really intrigued to see how they pull off. I but like this thing is it's space. You can do anything with this. And I think that's going to be really cool. But being able to do this and have all this stuff where he just flies off and looks great, by the way, if he flies off, looks great, and it doesn't throw me out of the thing of like, oh yeah, he's a space cop that has a green funny
Hmm.
ring that can do whatever he wants. Like that's the cool part about the show. And I
It's a
do,
good tonal balance. Like
yes,
it's really serious, but also it's not afraid to. And I said it before, like it's not afraid to be silly in terms of like, yeah, Hal's just gonna make a bottle opener out of the ring, or Hal's gonna do this with the ring. But it's really smart in how it does it, where it's like, no, like this is the norm.
right,
So don't like think it's silly. Like this is just how it is. So we're still gonna take it seriously, but we're
right,
also not gonna make a big deal out of it, you know?
right. And yeah, and I think you have those like funny moments between them to keep the comedy there, where even like in the OG True Detective, you had like not Rusty, but Woody Harrelson's character basically being
Marty, yeah.
yeah, Marty kind of being the not humor, but like the guy of going like, what are you doing? Like that
Yeah.
type of guy.
The
Like
straight man.
yeah, like I love the lines, this one line of like um that the hologram, like that something like that is
Yeah.
just funny and cool. Them talking about, sleeping with the grandma and you're like, already? Like impressive. Like just like that. I think I will say this, probably Hal Jordan right now is not what you picture coming out of a comic book, right? You have the cockiness, the no fear mentality of Hal, but he's not the I'm going to save the day. I'm going to do this. Like I'm not going to wear the outfit, like that type of
He's a
Hal.
little jaded. Yeah.
Right. And I think like that
Jade
from
Green.
the OG people might be a little like, really? Like that's not what we're getting. But I think that's gonna build towards the end of the season where he's gonna get back to that through John Stewart and kind of go
Yeah.
back to being not all negative and like he said, lonely. Like what the woman said lonely. I think that's a great thing of how is like I'm gonna guess by this time, 20 years later, is he deals with Carol Ferris, right? And like has his love of his life broken and all of that, and like he's by himself, just being Green
Hmm.
Lantern. And how does he deal with that? And having maybe a new sidekick slash new Green Lantern to help him out, does that relationship help him in a way? And I think that character development is gonna be so cool to watch. Um, I'll go back to one thing I just thought of. The ending, right? I've been texting my dad, and got a good point of like, if that is Hal Jordan, like he should know because the lantern ring would have flown to him, brought him to him, and that did that whole shebang. So that can't be Hal, right? Because why would he go to Nebraska, go back, and then drive to Nebraska, right? Like he could,
Hmm.
yes, absolutely, and done all that, but like that's an interesting thing where if he's seeing that for the first time, that doesn't make sense. Or is there like did the ring go to Guy or something like that
Yeah.
instead? But like which if it goes to Guy before Hal or
Or
before
John.
John,
Yeah.
oh Lord. But That's the thing too, right? Like we know there's at least two lanterns at one time because they're
Hmm.
going to do the
And it's
same
just like, why?
right. And so if you're going to kill off a third lantern, like that's intriguing. So like you see, like we're theorizing already. I'm excited to go on Twitter and see what everyone's gonna say, so everyone's gonna feel. That's how you do an episode. Like I've said at the beginning, this feels like True Detective. It feels like you're watching a 8 p.m. HBO show, and it has that feel to it. The writing is peak, and that's what you wanted to see. Like you get the
Hmm.
characters, you get the rings, you make it in this grounded way where these rings that can do anything basically still feel like they're kids, they're guys from Earth, right? And I think that's
Yep.
going to be really, really cool. There's so much space to be, explored, but
And we still haven't left the planet yet, and we know
no,
that that's going to come. Like
right. You're
it'll
going to
be
get
interesting to see how they incorporate that.
you're going to get a CGI and a David Lindelof show to the massive scale of other planets, which I think is going to be pretty cool. Like, are we going to get a Kilowog reference? Are we going to get like any of the other references in the show? Like,
Hmm. Are we going
I,
to actually see the big blue
yeah,
boys of
we have to at least see one, right? Like, so I just think there's so much that is going to be really, really cool to see. I always go back to this, right? When David Lindelof got hired to do this, you already said, okay, I'll watch it, right? But like the faith that HBO has in this show to do it the Sunday night premiere after House of the Dragon ends, of now it's you, I think is a passing of the torch that they should be
Yep.
really excited about. And
Because they don't do this with like these shows all the time. Like
the only other DC show they ever did this was Penguin, and
Penguin and Watchmen.
yes,
And even then
which,
Watchmen's not really DC.
but
Like it
like,
is, but it's
yeah, but like that's the level of show. There hasn't been an HBO show that really has missed in a while, and I think this is the next one up. So,
yeah.
um,
I have
overall,
a
yeah,
I have a I made a connection that may sound stupid in a month, but one of the big things in True Detective season one is there's this through line of you hear about this Yellow King, right?
yes,
And
yeah,
and all that. Obviously not the same show. We may be
we're gonna get
plowing
it.
on down to a Yellow King at some point in this.
Absolutely,
And
a Yellow King. That's
maybe think that this Yellow King is a big purple guy or
yeah,
is a purple man.
yeah,
But it is very possible that the Yellow King, we've already seen him a lot in this episode, and he might be dead,
yeah,
you know? And that might be a part of it. And so I do think that Hal's characterization is really interesting in that I feel like we might get a moment where people talk about the parallax stuff. And that's a big story with Hal, especially him being an older version. I think a lot of people are jumping to that conclusion if they know that. Um, I think we might get a moment kind of like in Avengers where the Hulk's like, that's my secret. Like I'm always angry.
right,
And it's Hal going, oh, I haven't been this good lately because I'm not afraid. Like, dude, I'm leaning into that fear right now. Like
right,
this all I'm into.
yeah,
And so it's just like a big twist. Maybe it's the big like halfway through the season moment in the 2016 timeline where John's like, "Uh-oh, like what are we doing here?" But
yeah,
I don't know. It's the timelines are going to be really confusing. Not like confusing, but just like what are you predicting and when is it going to be predicted to happen, you know?
right. Well, luckily we know goatee John goatee or non John goatee. That's what we'll figure it
Huge.
out.
The
It's your
goatee is a huge like delineation. Like this is this is Justice League Unlimited John Stewart,
yes,
you know?
exactly.
And I just
Yeah,
want to take a moment to talk about probably 10 minutes into the episode, I'm sitting there watching uh and just being like, wow, this is actually John Stewart, like from
yeah.
growing up as a kid. Like
That's it's the
he's completely embodied it, the voice, just the demeanor, like so calculated, and then he makes mistakes, but that's because he's young. Like I'm interested to see, and I hope we're fortunate enough to see like a John Stewart that's 7 years from now in another movie or in another season of this, where it's like, oh no, like he's the guy who knows everything now.
right. I could totally like I he deserves his own movie. I don't know if that's like he does 3 seasons of Lanterns and then gets his movie or like I don't think they would do. season of Lanterns movie, Seasons of Lanterns. I don't know. They probably wouldn't do that, but he deserves his flowers because he is rocking this role, and I'm excited to see the biggest test of like can you do both of all these themes is how in the world if it's gonna be this dark, not dark but like grounded, and
Hmm.
they put him in Superman. How is that going to work? I'm so
Yeah.
intrigued because they're making Superman. It looks like just like a how they did Batman versus Superman back in the
It's
day.
like Civil War, like,
Right. It's one of those movies, and so I'm just intrigued. Like, how are they going to pull it off? Because I feel like they absolutely can do it. That's not the problem. It's just more like I'm intrigued. Like, I think it's going to be really exciting to see a more like grounded. Like, you see him doing his licks of just being the learner. Like, even the
yeah,
thing where like they're walking into the police station and they hold the door open for Hal, and Hal basically doesn't open the door, and he has to run around the car to get in. Just
yeah.
like stuff like that where you're having to do the small things just to grow. Like I think it's gonna be so cool. Um,
Hmm.
I'll end with this. What do you think about just the Green Lantern use of the ring this episode? Like
I think it's very like they're definitely holding back, and I
yes,
think it's intentional because I think they're just trying to like ease it in for the general audience who's like,
right,
oh, HBO series at 8 p.m. Like, oh, interesting. There's this thing. I remember I might have remembered this from, a movie a few years ago or whenever I was a kid or something, but like, and not try to like scare people off with like, oh yeah, he's just like, how Guy uses it in Superman, where it's just like, yeah, we're gonna put oven mitts on this big monster or something like super like
yeah,
obvious. I think it's interesting. I think people probably think that they're like afraid to use the rings, like, but I think I don't really have any you know fears about that because it's like I think they're confident in what they're doing, and I think they're confident in what they're withholding with the rings. And when you're withholding something, that means that you're about to, you know, let it loose at some point.
absolutely. I think yeah, I you always want more Green Lantern ring, and I think that's always cool. But like they use them when they need it. Um, I love the bottle opener, the money, and like he's like, did
Hmm.
you counterfeit it or whatever? Um, I thought the thing of like just burning the cigarette with the ring was
Yeah,
so cool. Like I thought that was really cool. And then like you saw it like where he was taking the time with the bottle opener and be like, yeah, make it intricate. Like, okay, here it is. But then like when he needs the bomb, boom, it's there.
yeah.
And like, the whole thing is like it should be as fast as your thought of like your will, like the power of your will. It should be as fast as it can construct. And you saw that
Hmm.
where like he can make it nice, but when he needs to have the bomb, boom, he's there. Speaking of that bomb, like the interrogation scene, shout out that actor, whoever was the alien,
Yeah,
incredible.
toe to
He,
toe with Kyle Chandler right
dude,
there.
it was like I was like, okay, kid. The fact that he found out through Barack Obama is hilarious. Of course, in the
Barack Hussein Obama.
Barack
I
Obama
did
in
not think
Nebraska.
that that was going to be referenced in a Green Lantern show.
Barack Obama in 2016 in Nebraska. That is a you have an opinion on that, absolutely. Um,
And dare I say this comically accurate Republican Hal Jordan?
yeah. Not wrong. I think also the cool thing with like, okay, if you went to A&M, could you name like last time we won a championship, all time reading rusher like that and that fast?
Yeah,
It would
probably
ta-
not.
it would take me a second. I'll like we
But
both worked for
it is a
sports,
smart like talking about the writing again. It's a really smart way to be like, yeah, this would be a way to differentiate because if they're playing this role,
right?
well, you're going to focus on all the things that like make you really good at the role. You're not going to be focused on what makes you good at because they're not pretending to be humans. They're pretending to be humans in this town, in this place, doing this.
Right.
But if you were just, a human who happened to be somewhere, like you're gonna know about, like the Harry Potter stuff, or you're gonna know about Obama, or have your
Yeah.
opinions on Obama if you're in rural Nebraska in 2016.
Yeah. 100%. All right. I don't have any other thoughts. Do you? But like,
Mm-mm,
I think that's a great way to set up. I think we kind of do always like, what are our expectations? I really don't have any, and that makes me excited.
mm-mm.
Like, it's gonna be a who done it, like either with Kyle Chandler who's dead or the alien who's dead, and then this
Probably
whole,
both.
then what are they doing in this town, right? It's whatever 3 decades worth, right? Not because 2016 said he was there in 2006 doing something. So like
Yep.
when Abensur was there. So 06, 2016 or 1996, sorry, 96, 16 and 2026. This all happens in one town.
But
What
then
is
there's also
going?
2006, like 2006, there's something there.
Yeah. So I'm just really, really excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully we have Peyton on for the next episode. We did not cut you out, Peyton. Just gotta read the text. Love you, buddy. Um,
I can't remember how many times I've said I think it should be a weekly episode.
yes. Yes. Thank you for like I think our last episode got like over 10 views. That's something. Like we're making the ground with not promoting this on social media at all. So thank you. Thank you for the people.
Grassroots.
Grassroots. Thank you to the friends who watched this. Thank you for the people we who are watching this out of
Thank you
nothing.
to the color green.
Thank you for the color green. Um, same bat time, same bat channel next week. We will see you later. Appreciate it. See y'all.